ninth one. And as I said, I met her at one of the functions and she was just very thrilled, knew, remembered us. And so come on back in, Marie. You can turn on your, there we go.
There we are.
There
Hi.
she is. Yes, yes. So this nice to meet you. I will do my best today. She does a fabulous job. And as I said, I'm a talker. But if I'm looking at my little cheat sheet here, but I have tons of questions. I was reading the book, loved it. Uh,
Thank you.
and you said you were telling everyone that you are up in your house in Washington State.
That's right.
And, and well, they didn't hear that, but yeah, we have 31 people. That's great. Yes, and you're in the process of possibly writing another book, and we'll
Oh, it's
talk
not
about that.
possibly. I have to do
It
it. I
is.
signed a contract. There's
They're
no,
gonna make you do it now.
they're gonna, I mean, I
Um,
guess I could not do it. I guess they can't kill me or anything,
yeah.
but I
Well,
feel
now
like
they,
that's what
yeah,
I agreed to do. So that's what I
right,
will.
right. And although for those of you who don't know, okay. We can see, you can't see us. We just see each other, but we can hear you. You'll see in the bottom right-hand side, you can put a chat in question. So if there's anything that you, and I will try to make sure I check it. If there's any questions you have for her, please type away and I will try to be cognizant of some of the questions that you might have from reading it. So we still have, if anybody, you know, we still are trying to get some other people involved. So if you're interested, also give us a shout out there. I will read just some of the huge accolades that is a New York Times USA Today bestseller of more than 20 works of contemporary and historical fiction. Then you had a film adaptation about the second sister. They've been translated into 14 different languages.
I think we just picked up a couple more this week. So
Oh
those
my
numbers
gosh.
have gone up. Now
So
I'm going to be
16.
translated into Slovak, which
So,
seemed very exciting to me. I know.
wow. Slovak. Well, good
Yes.
luck there, you
Also,
know.
an Arabic. Who'd have thunk?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there, that's how big you are. You're just spread all over the world there. Um, and the book club for troublesome women, will get on. I just loved it. So you live in this Washington state, with her spoiled Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. And
Well,
when
she's
she's
just a little spoiled. She's just moderately spoiled.
moderately, okay, let me change moderately.
Moderately
She
spoiled.
likes to travel and let's hear about your book. So, how did you start? How did you get the idea for this? Because I'm just like, oh, I thought that was great.
Well, this is one of my favorite things about this book is, I can't always tell where ideas can come from. They can come from
Mhm.
almost anywhere. But this time the idea came from a source that is very near and dear to me. So a few years ago, about four, I think now, I was having a conversation with my mom, who was 89 years old at the time. And my mom is now 93 and she is a force of nature. She just is. She
Yes.
she is like a clothes horse. She's a quick draw with a cocktail shaker. She could absolutely drink me under the table.
She's
She
a
is the
Catherine, is
queen of
she?
huh?
She's a Catherine, is she?
N-
Isn't that the
Uh,
one?
well, no, she's just, I don't know. She's just herself. She's just
Yeah.
this amazing, amazing woman and just remarkable. And she is also an avid reader. And so we were talking about books one day, as we sometimes do, and The Feminine Mystique, Betty Friedan's 1963 blockbuster,
Mm-hmm.
which many have credited as being a catalyst for what we call second wave feminism. First
Mm-hmm.
wave feminism being just essentially getting the vote. So second wave feminism is like, well, we've got the vote. Things don't still seem very equal. And how do we do that? So
Mm-hmm.
this, Friedan's book was part of that. And my mom, we were talking about that book, and she said, I don't know if I ever told you, but that book changed my life. And
Oh,
she had
really?
not ever mentioned this. And so I said, well, do tell. And as soon as she started talking, I mean, really within minutes, I just felt the hair stand up on the back of my neck and on my arms. And it was like, oh my gosh, I have just stumbled upon an idea for a truly terrific book.
So it
And
was your
so,
mom.
the main character, my mother's name is Margaret. The main character is named Margaret, but that Margaret is
Hmm.
not my mom. My mom,
Okay.
I use the name because A, it's perfect for the period,
And I was
but
gonna say
B,
you had to search for names that
yeah,
were,
oh, I love doing that. That's always
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It's a wonderful way to avoid actually having to work on the book. You can just play with names. You could do that all day long. But but so that was an homage to her. But the Margaret in the book is very much her own person.
Hmm.
She is a character I just invented.
I was just going to say when you find these characters, because each of them are so completely different, yet in some way the same. How
Mm.
did you decide what each character was going to be like, or did they tell you? Sometimes when people write, they say,
Um,
they told
well,
me.
I think sometimes characters do reveal themselves to me in the writing process.
Hmm.
But I am not, I've sometimes heard people, some authors who are like, "Oh, the character told me," or the character. I am in control of the material.
Hmm.
I am
Yeah.
in control of the characters. They are not in control of me. They are
Hmm.
imaginary. I am real. Um, but
Right.
I do try to imagine their lives, and I try to ask myself a lot of questions about them, about, I want to know what it is they want. I want
Hmm.
to know what's standing in their way. I want to know their background. I want to know their childhood
Hmm.
because I think even if I don't go into that in the book, it's important that I know. You all don't have
Right.
to know everything I know about the characters. And then the other thing, and I think this is always a very telling question, I want to know what is it the character believes about the world or herself that is wrong?
Especially in that time frame
Well,
thing
I think all of us are
now.
laboring under misbeliefs of some
Yeah.
sort, that we're
Hmm.
not aware of that. So I think that's when things get really interesting. But a lot of how my books go through multiple revisions. Um,
Yes.
I usually am, I usually revise a book between 5 and 8 times. And of course, the revisions tend to get less complicated, I hope.
Yeah.
The more we go into them, it's more fine tuning, you hope as you go on. But but as I am writing, I learn things. So I do my best to think up front, who is this person? But that's
Hmm.
always going to be an incomplete picture.
And it could change when you see the interaction with what this character is doing,
Yeah.
or
And it's
yeah.
not usually as much, it's not that it changes so much, although sometimes it does. It's more like, the old school cameras, but some of you are probably photographers and like, you can mess with the focus. I mean, you've got different lenses and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the
Hmm.
lighting I need to use, the speed I need to use, the focus. This is the right lens. Yes. And so it's kind of like that.
Yeah. I just thought they were all so intent excuse me, intensely unique.
Yeah.
And I think that was just so well done. And
Thank
yet they all mesh together as well.
Well,
They all have,
that's long been kind of my specialty.
yeah,
Um,
it just
I
was
always
so
tell
well done.
myself, it would be so much easier, I think. Every time I read a book that's really, really good that has just one central character and a through line, I think, well, that's what I'm going to do because that would be so much easier than trying to juggle 3 or 4 different story arcs of completely different people and
Hmm.
get them from a, beginning, middle, and an end, and yet have them all intertwine. And yet that's never what I
And
do.
that just doesn't happen. But
It's just,
it's just so, I will say you did it so well
thank
because you
you.
could see where each person connected with the other person all the way around. And I'm wondering about all the people who are watching, who they identified with. I'd be curious
Mm.
to see who was
Yeah, chat,
somebody
put it in
that
the chat.
you,
I'd love to see too.
yeah, see if you could. And I decided that I was probably Margaret because I like to be in charge sometimes. And Um, yeah, and I had a decent marriage. I have not had, have, a decent marriage, but I just thought that you did a very nice job with and nobody's messing up here. Um, with the characters, and how the ending just pulled together as well,
Thank
that
you.
they all, um, I think my other favorite character, and pardon me for forgetting their names, the one with the horses.
Bitsy.
Bitsy, yeah. How could I forget Bitsy? Yeah. I really enjoyed her changes and
Mm.
different ways that, um, but it was a big year. I was but a youngster then. Um, so that's what I was going to say. How was your research on the 60s and so on? Where did you look for your research on what was
Well,
happening in the years that you were talking about?
so I was alive that
Yeah.
year, but only just.
Yes, I
So
myself.
I kind of had some understanding, naturally of the 60s and what was going on. But I did have to kind of go back and review just like, you can actually, and I use this quite a lot. And you'll see sections in the book where it talks about in the month of, August, this happened, this happened, this happened. Now, I don't always use that in that way, but it was so helpful in this book because I wanted to provide context for
And
the
that, yeah,
reader
how they were.
but I wanted to do it in sort of a shorthand method. And so I often when I'm going back, I will and the internet is wonderful for this. You can ask the internet, tell me everything that happened that was important in the news in this year. And
Oh,
so I had a
wow.
huge month by month, day by day list of things, and that
Oh,
sparked
that's
some
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it sparked some things, and that was very helpful. And I also, one thing and I read a lot of books.
Hmm.
Read the books that we have in as far as what the
Hmm.
book club was reading, but I also read other books for outside, information for research and things. And if you all were to get on my website and you went to the page where it says books, and then it's this book, Troublesome Women. Clicked on that. If you scroll down, I have a book club party kit, and it's got
Oh,
recipes and it's got a playlist, but it also has a list of all the books that the book club reads, and then many of the books that I used for my research.
oh, wow.
And
That's really
one in
interesting. Good to know.
particular that was so helpful to me was a book called A Strange Stirring. And it's by, in fact, a Washington State
I'm gonna
academic.
write that
Um,
down.
yeah, it's a very good book. I believe it may be out of print or it might be hard to find, but you can probably find a used one. And of course, you can always find an ebooks. That is one advantage of
Yeah.
ebooks.
Hmm.
And it talked about sort of the response to the feminine mystique. It gave the criticisms for good or for ill, which was important for me to understand. And then, but how people personally responded to it in very, in like, so I had sort of, firsthand source materials on that. And
Hmm.
that was really helpful.
And
So
there was
there's a
so
lot of
much
things like
going
that.
on.
And then I also got my hands on as many vintage magazines, physical copies.
I
Um,
that cracked me up because my mom got all those, Good Housekeeping and all that,
Everybody
different
did.
way. Yeah, yeah.
No, magazines were hugely
Hmm.
influential. And when I've gone out and I've talked to younger people, and younger people have really embraced this book, which thrills me right down to my socks. But
Hmm.
when I'm trying to explain to them about how influential magazines were for women of this era, what I say is, and you can just see their eyes light up with recognition, I say it was the TikTok of the day.
That's great. I like that. The magazines were, yep. And then
They were
just off the
influential.
flash, and
We talk about influencers, and
yeah,
magazines were influencers.
that's true. And the ones that they were saying was sure enough was Good Housekeeping. That was my favorite. And I waited to get the gingerbread, the issue in December where the gingerbreads were made in the
Sure.
back, and that was a very interesting part as well. Um,
Oh, and I just want so if anybody, this might ring a bell. Like my aunt Hazel used to save, and I think it was McCall. Oh yeah, it was McCall's. Betsy McCall paper dolls. I
no,
used to cut
yes.
out all the Betsy McCall paper dolls when
Oh,
I was a little
no,
girl. I
see, I
think
didn't. we had to do the home ec where they came out and, make a dress, which was again not a forte that I had. But I don't remember. I was reading, I was born in 58. And I'm trying to remember, I guess I was too young to see the strength and what women couldn't do and all that
Mm,
kind of thing. So that was, but my mom was home almost. That was one thing. Everybody that I knew, all the moms were at home.
hmm
I'm not sure they were all. I don't think I had enough in my head to decide if that was something that I understood at the time. But I can think back on how the women did this and the dads did that. Um,
hmm hmm
but I don't
For
I
some,
don't remember.
for some people, that was fine and they were very happy in that.
Yep.
But for a whole lot of people, like my mother, she was not happy. And she was, what was so interesting is and I interviewed her for
Oh,
this.
yes.
Um,
Oh, interesting.
and and one of the things is like she was really, before she read The Feminine Mystique, she thought there was something wrong with her.
Really.
She was like, why am I, I have all the things that are supposed to make me happy. Why am I not happy? She had four
Hmm.
beautiful children. She had the marriage and the station wagon and she was trying to, for my mom, sewing all us matching Easter dresses was not a reason for living.
Yes.
And she just, it didn't matter how much jam she canned, it wasn't it wasn't filling her cup in a
Yeah.
meaningful way. And some people, and I'm all for the domestic arts. I think, some people want to make homemaking their career, and I think that's a beautiful thing if that's your choice,
Yeah.
as long as you make sure that you understand finances,
Yes. Yes.
because marriage, we say till death do us part, but sometimes death can come early and things can happen. So a
Yes.
woman, I believe, should always, if the chips are down, a woman needs to be able to paddle her own
You
canoe.
need to figure that all out. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought of Viv. She was another one that I was very proud that she took the job, because as I'm reading, I'm going, please take it, please take the job, please take the job. And I'm glad her husband, I was relieved, not relieved, that's not a nice word, but I was glad to see how the husbands adjusted with the women and seeing that, yeah,
Well, some did
some
and
did and
some
some didn't.
didn't.
Not, yeah,
And it was important to me, I didn't want to write a book that was like, so when I turned in the book, my editor read it and she said, "Oh, I love it, I love it. And I'm so glad you didn't make it a she woman boy hater book."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I said,
yeah.
why would I do that? I have three sons. I think they're great. I like men.
Hmm.
I like men a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
but I also like, so in the book, we have a husband who's a real dreamboat. We
Hmm.
have a husband who's really having a bad few years and is
Hmm.
acting out in ways that even he doesn't understand and
Hmm.
who goes through a transition. We have a husband who is a genuinely bad guy.
Yeah,
And then we have a husband who behaves badly, but quite frankly, is just kind of a doofus about it.
yeah, that's
He's not an evil intended
you know,
person. He's
that's
just,
all I could think of was this
yeah, he's
little
just kind of a
farm
doofus,
guy.
So
Oh, that's funny,
him,
yeah.
I mean, it's like we don't totally give him a pass, but
He is who he was,
yeah,
he is who he
yeah.
is, and that's and he held his own for a while, that until, but I was glad to see the power that the women all had at the end, whether it was as simple as Margaret and her husband bonding again together, or um and I liked seeing what everybody did with their future at the end. That was the good part
Oh
too.
gosh, my first draft of that epilogue was like twice as long, and my editor was like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, and then I like happy endings, and it doesn't
me too.
necessarily have to be entirely happy, but I like that they all fought for something that they believed in, and that was a hard thing to do in the
Mm,
60s.
yeah, yeah.
But I remember my mom saying, if it wasn't for, my dad was in the army when I was born, and she said if it wasn't for bridge and coffee, she never said anything about book groups, but if it wasn't for bridge in particular, and coffee time. She said, I don't know what I do with myself, because
Mm,
but that was but she didn't mind being a mom either. She never really had anything, but she had her moments when she was bored at home, you know.
mm, mm.
Whether I mean, the army was a good gave you some, good enough money, but it was interesting. So you do say that you are working on something or you're attempting to working on a new book. Are you
Yes.
allowed to say anything about it? No?
I don't want to just yet because I think I have the title, but it might be in process yet. It is
Yeah.
not a sequel to this book, but it will
Okay.
dovetail nicely with this book. It does um involve a group of women who are bonding over books
Mm-hmm.
in a book club. It's in the 60s, but it's later, and these women have a very different set of problems. And
Hmm.
I am setting it in Connecticut, which is another place I frequently set books.
That's where I grew up. Yep.
Yeah.
In Connecticut,
Well,
in
I
Westfield,
lived there
Connecticut.
for 14 years.
Yep.
So I feel comfortable in that New England setting, but I've lived all over the country. So I've lived pretty much everywhere but the desert Southwest. So I can set a book just about any place and make it
Right.
feel
Right.
authentic.
And
So
I
yeah,
think it's
it's
popular. Book groups are very popular on the island. I mean, there's all kinds of book groups and here and there and so I think it is for various reasons. And where well, I shouldn't say, but they were like, "Oh, are we going to sit and have cocktails?" And I was like, "No, we're gonna read the book and we're going to talk
yeah.
about the book." But there were also times when we just needed to be with each other, and I
Well,
like
when you're
that
talking about the
aspect.
book, you're going to end up talking about life too. Rosemary
Yes, yes.
Carpenter has an interesting comment, and I agree. Interesting
Oh,
that Bitsy was the youngest, but her husband was the one who couldn't handle her knowing how to cure a horse. I think that's very true. And I think
yep.
when you read accounts of women's lives and whether it, be the actual thing or through fiction and literature in that period, one of the things that women were supposed to do was deny their own intelligence so that men could
Mm-hmm.
feel smart. You didn't want
Yep.
to threaten them. And
Yep.
gee whiz, how silly. I
Yeah.
mean,
And what is the show? I didn't even watch it. Mad Men.
Mad
Was
Men.
that the one? Yeah, I started
Mhm,
watching
mhm.
it and all then when I was reading this, I'm thinking this is not not what your book is about, but it gives you a good idea of what it was like during that
Some
time
of those similar
period.
things. Yeah, no. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, Bobby, that's been so interesting. I've gotten so much email about this book. I am perpetually behind on
Mhm.
email to the point where I mean, I'm almost considering hiring an assistant just to help me with the
I'll
mail.
do it.
It's such a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know that I'm quite ready because I'll know I'll want to end up answering myself.
And
Anyway,
then yeah.
what happens over and over again, people will write and say, I love the book, and then they tell me their story.
Yeah.
People want to tell me their story of living
Hmm.
through those times. And one story I hear a lot is that women were who I just got one recently from a woman who she had gotten a very good scholarship to a college and her mother didn't think women should go to college and wouldn't help her. She didn't have quite enough
The
for her,
money.
for
Yeah.
her living expenses. And she
Hmm.
says, and at that age, 18-year-old me just couldn't kind of wrap my brain around, well, look, I could just work two jobs and make this work,
Yeah.
and over again. And sometimes the one comes as like, well, no, her parents didn't want her to get a college education because then men wouldn't want her.
Hmm. Because
So,
then there'd be two. Yeah. And I got
so,
that feeling with some of the situations that in your book, but they fought it, I think, too.
mhm.
That's very interesting. Um, well, I'm interested to hear what your next book is about. Um, anybody
Well, I
else?
think I've told you about all I've told you.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you
that you're
about
all
that
you're
one.
going to do.
Yeah.
We'll get it out of you. Well, I look forward to reading that. And I'm trying to think of Janet, I know your computer's not working, but I didn't know if you had any last minute uh words to the wisdom.
Marie, you didn't talk about the setting for this book and how you chose the setting.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I'd love to tell you about that. Well, so again, I've told you I have lived, and some of you probably know. So I wish I could see all of you right now because I'd ask for a show of hands of anybody who has either lived in or visited Reston, Virginia. And I guarantee you, yeah, I lived in Reston for a while
Hmm. My
myself because I
son-in-law
have lived
grew up there.
everywhere. And it is a lovely community. But it is planned within an inch of its life. And it was,
Mhm.
in fact, one of the very first planned communities. It
Really?
was founded in 1965, so I couldn't actually use it. And I probably wouldn't have. It's so much easier to use a fictional town because then, like, if you
Yeah,
real place, and sometimes
you're gonna get the phone calls.
that a book, yeah, people will say, "Oh no, the church is on this street, not that street," and I just don't want to answer that mail.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
It's like that is not those are not the things I want
But
to talk.
that's what's fun though, because with writing and creating a book, it's whatever I want to put in there,
Well,
but
and
you
when you're
still
inventing the
have to
town, it's
grab,
absolutely it's
yeah,
my
yeah,
world, and I
yes,
get to have it be that way. But
yeah.
I did model it loosely on Reston, Virginia, because I
Hmm.
lived there and I did like it, but it felt really kind of like a shirt that was too tight in some ways. There were so many rules about every darn thing. And I will tell you a true story of my time there, which if you've read the book, you know that I kind of used this a little bit. So I bought this house on what was a supposedly oversized lot that was the most expensive house I had ever bought on my life. And even though it was oversized, it was on the smallest piece of dirt I'd ever lived in on my life. So I'm in this house and it's brand new. It's a new build. And you move in and you have thoughts about wallpaper and landscaping and things like that. I had thoughts about landscaping. One day I walk out and there is a tree in my front yard. It is a pretty good sized tree. It's not a sapling, it's at least 5 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
And this is not a tree that I would have wanted, and I certainly didn't ask for it. So I thought, well, somebody has made a mistake. So I called up the homeowners association, said, hi, I think there probably is a tree that was meant to be planted in the common area, and maybe they messed up and they planted it in my yard. And they said, "Oh no, ma'am, that is part of the master plan, that tree." And I said, "Well, it ain't part of my
Why?
master plan. I don't like it."
Why?
And she said, "Well, that is part of the master plan." Now remember, this is my private property that I paid extra for my very tiny oversized lot, right? So I was not very happy. And well, what can I tell you? That tree died. I just
Oh, it just fizzled right out.
things happen. So,
Yeah.
anyway, you probably, if you've read the book, you recognize I borrowed a little bit, and it just seemed like such a great metaphor, right? Here is this planned community, and I called it Concordia because Concordia in Latin is a word that can mean harmony or agreement, right? And
Yeah.
so I did that very deliberately. And the idea is, oh, if we just all act in accord and everybody does kind of the same thing and the same way, there will be harmony
I was
and
to say everybody
happiness.
will be happy.
Right. And
And
except what if there's not? And it was just the ideal metaphor for these women. These
mhm.
women weren't built to do what everybody else was doing.
And that's still the way the world is now. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody has, we don't all think the same. And that
Yeah.
sometimes people aren't happy about that. But
Yeah.
I, as with your, characters, they stood up and I did like not that my parents drank a lot, but with the drinks, the sidecar and all the different drinks that they use, that old fashioned
Oh,
and all the
yes.
drinks that I used to see my parent, not all the
Somebody
drinks.
was asking me, they're like, why does everybody smoke? I'm like, because everybody did.
That's how it was. Yeah. Yep.
I remember being in grade school and like, making an ashtray for Mother's
Yeah.
Day.
And we had a smoking area and down the
Sure.
hall, down by the music room or
Yeah. Now,
whatever,
my
but we
mom
had
didn't
an
smoke,
area.
but like making
My
an
mom,
ashtray was a perfectly acceptable craft for a second grader at that point.
isn't that, yes, that's so funny that you say that because we all remember that just
Yeah.
was the way. And that's what I was saying when I watched Mad Men. It was like everybody smoked, but
Yeah.
times were changing. Now, I'll have to tell you, I can't think of the last time I've seen somebody with a cigarette other than no, see, I can't even think of, and I was in an airport and they did have smoking areas. I never saw them, but I guess they're over where the dogs have to go to the bathroom type of spot over in the corner. But times were changing, and
Yep.
that was part of it. It would be interesting to talk to many that have been alive and talk about your book with them as well, to see
Oh, I've had
what
those
was
conversations.
similar with the certain people for your information for your book.
No, I mean,
Is
I've
that
had a lot of those conversations, and pretty much all of them were like, yep, that was it. So I
Yeah,
did
well,
work
that's
very hard
good.
on my
You nailed
research.
it. You nailed it well. And for some of us that weren't, old enough to understand that, to still see it um in that, you're like, yeah, that's right. Um there was anyway, I can't but there was a time when I just thought something was wrong with my mom, and she's smoking the cigarettes. Well, come to find out, I don't think it was the cigarettes but I didn't know about alcohol and
Mm,
not that my mom, God rest your soul, mom, sorry. But I didn't even know about
mm,
cigarettes and alcohol and in that time period,
sure, sure.
Um, but it was interesting, really, really interesting book. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I look
Glad
forward
to be
to
here.
hearing about your next endeavor when it's ready. And hopefully you'll come back down to Pat Conroy's area and do another
Oh,
show for
I
us.
always get to the South. The South has a lot of readers and a lot of book clubs, so that's something
Oh,
I
and a
always get
lot
to.
of authors. I mean, we have that's
Yep.
what we were talking about. We have a lot of local authors, and we have
Oh,
two.
you were talking about book recommendations. Can I recommend something?
Yes, please do. See if it's
There is a
on.
book that I am telling everyone in the world about. It is a book that just stuck with me. I love it so much. Um, I think about it all the time. It's called The Sideways Life of Denny Voss, Voss.
The
And the author is
sideways.
a Canadian author named Holly Kennedy. It is a wonderful book. It is charming, it is thoughtful, it is wise, it is uplifting. Denny Voss is a neurodivergent man in his early 30s, and if you liked, and I tend to love neurodivergent characters, if you liked Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna love Denny Voss. I think it's so, so wonderful. Um, yeah, good. Thank you, Janet, for
Oh,
writing that down. It's just, I cannot recommend
yeah.
this book. I stop people in the bookstore. I'm like, you're getting this. You're not leaving without this. I'm watching you. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Well,
think
that's
it's
good to
wonderful.
get. Did she read the other one? Still in his 80s. So let me say, oh, you wrote it down. Okay, sideways. Good.
The author is Holly Kennedy.
Yes.
Thanks for asking, Gina.
Um, yeah, it's always good to do that. And there we, like I said, Hilton Head and a bit off island, what is involved in the WAHI. There are book groups all over, and
Oh, yeah.
everybody is talking about a good book. Hey, have you read this book? And so it's always good to have an answer to that. So that's good to know. Um, and then Janet, you said the
Oh, not Polly,
Whistler,
Janet. It's Holly with an H. Holly Kennedy.
Holly,
Yeah,
right?
like the holly and the
Um,
ivy.
Janet was saying that she loved The Whistler by Ann Patchett.
I haven't read that yet, but it's on my stack for sure. And
Yes,
The
I know.
Correspondent, which is terribly popular, was a wonderful book as well.
Yes, yeah, I had a hard time getting into it, and I found it was easier to listen to because I had a list. I have a book. When I read, I have to, okay, she said and
Yeah.
so I did have to take the book, but I hope and I also, hope maybe that was more people would start writing letters.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but we have, yeah, two couple of other murder mystery coming up and another woman. But like again, we just had something at our Bluffton library and there was
Thanks, Mark.
20 people.
Well, wonderful.
Remember they were-
Mark Grossberg had a recommendation. I'm going to write that down for myself. Thank you.
I have
Well, I've
I
enjoyed my time with you.
just
If you have any, do you have any more questions?
I'm fresh out of questions. I just want to thank you for your time. I've always enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the area when your next book comes.
Thank you for asking me to
So,
join you today,
all right,
guys, and
thank you
thanks for
for
sticking around
joining
and
us.
talking with me.
All
Bye, guys.
right, take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, I was just going to, before we got off, just the other two books that we're going to be having, the Mudflat Murders, and this is um, a lesser known author, but I met her too. And this is about a small Rhine River village, and how they from not Sweden, um, gripping his they're trying to get from to America, and it's based on her family. But I met her again at the um, uh, Pat Conroy centers that she does, and don't forget, and yeah, this one was in one of the papers. This is Brian, a little bit about Brian, but don't forget to go to the two indies. The I'm embarrassed, I don't know the name of the new book place in Bluffton. There's one, the Cobblestone or something, but I think that might be the children's. So I'm going to be on the lookout and drive out there. If anybody knows it, you can send that. And also Emery's bookstore right here in the plaza. And remember indie book groups, and send us any ideas that you have.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right, we'll see everyone at our next we have